Welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. We're going fly fishing. We're going to do catch and release rainbow trout fishing. We're here at Frensham Trout Fishery. Is it good? Tell you what, I've been fishing here for about 15 years. It's certainly a beautiful setting. And who better to tell us about this than the fishery owner, Richard Twite. And he knows a lot about trout fishing. He's been doing it a long time. And you know what? He is the specialist, as far as I'm concerned, in running catch and release trout fisheries. A lot of fisheries don't like it. They say it doesn't work. I think we better ask Richard. He's in the clubhouse. Let's get some insight into this catch and release.
How'd you do, Graeme?
How'd you do, Richard? Long time no see, for about 15 years, I should think.
That's been a long time, mate.
Yeah. Now, you've been involved in the trout fishing game for a very long time, and you can tell us about this catch and release. So first, just give me a breakdown on the lakes and the history of Frensham Trout Fishery.
Well, Frensham Trout Fishery started in 1985. I personally dug it out, not with a shovel but with a bulldozer. So it's man-made.
Yes.
But we kept it very natural, in the woods there, ancient woodland.
Yeah.
Nice setting, perfect for trout fishing.
Gotcha. Yeah. And you got what, five lakes in total? Six lakes in total.
There were 5 until last year. We put another one in last year, which is the last lake to go in there.
Yeah.
Now
they run on sort of a link system. I see there were pipes when I pulled into the car park, and they call them monks. Is that what they call them? Monk,
yeah,
a hatch or something?
Well, the monk is what allows you to drain the lakes down, but the pipe work is to create oxygen.
I see.
So from different levels, the pipes are turned up at the end, so the oxygenated water can bubble out all day long.
Gotcha. Is that part and parcel of holding a good density of trout and being able to maintain that stock density with catch and release?
Yes.
That oxygen content.
Yeah, the oxygen is the important factor. If it's almost a still water, then the catch and release is not as good.
Yes.
But with well oxygenated water, it's perfect.
Okay.
We've been doing it there for 25 odd years. With no problem whatsoever.
Because a lot of trout fishers, their rules are whatever the limit on the fish is, 2 fish, 3 fish, 4 fish, strictly no catch and release. Yeah. I only filmed one a couple of days ago. It said the ball was in the fishing rod, strictly no catch and release.
Yeah.
Now, what's the thinking behind that? Is it because the trout's going to remember and it won't take that fly ever again? Because I've never really been sure about it. Well, you've obviously proved them wrong, because you can catch them again.
Yeah. Well, our tickets allow people to catch and release after their limit. You can either have a sporting day ticket, which a lot of people like, or you can catch 3-4 fish and then catch and release thereafter.
Because a lot of the time, when you go to fisheries, and especially with the big fish waters, they're so well stocked densely. I've seen it over and done. Open the gates at 9 o'clock, all over and done with up past 9. And talking to anglers, they sort of feel a bit cheated. They haven't actually had a day's fishing. Exactly. They've caught fish, but you have to ask yourself that they really enjoyed it, you know?
Have they had a good day? Well, they haven't had a good day because they've gone out of there within an hour.
Exactly. But that's quite a popular one, I'd imagine. The fact that you can take some trout home to mum or dad or whoever or the wife, and then you can relax and the pressure's off. You've got your value for money, if you like, and you can relax and then
catch and release.
Do catch and release.
Yeah.
With the inflow of your lakes, the feeder system, where does that water come from?
Well, it originates at Waggoner's Wells, which is about 3 miles upstream.
Yes.
It comes out of the ground there. Waggoner's Wells used to be a fishery.
Oh, really?
Years ago. And it continues through the Whitmore Vale stream.
That's the stream that actually feeds your lakes, the Whitmore Vale?
Yeah. So from Waggoner's Wells into Whitmore Vale stream, and Whitmore Vale stream feeds Frensham Pond.
Oh, does it really?
The main
yes.
50-acre lake, but we're midstream between Waggoner's Wells and Frensham Pond.
Now, I know we had a lot of rain this last winter, but there seems to be an awful lot of water coming through. What's the sort of volume that comes through your system here?
Well, we get at least 1 million gallons a day travel through, but it can double that in the winter period.
Really?
So 2 million gallons a day.
So they've really got fresh oxygenated water to live in, all those fish in there?
Every day there's a clean flow of water, yeah.
Insect-wise, tell us what sort of insect life that trout fly fishermen can expect in there.
Well, we're coming into the mayfly season. We get a particularly good mayfly hatch at Frensham. They love it there. But we also get sedge, buzzers hatching all day long. You know, the majority daddy longlegs, masses of those.
Would we be best to fish, we say, a sinking line near the bottom, intermediate, floating line? I mean, it's still a bit cool, but, you know, give us a few tips for fishing Frensham.
Well, a lot of people come to us specifically for the dry fly action.
Yeah.
All year long people fish dry flies at our place, which is quite unusual, you know, to be able to catch a fish in midwinter on a dry fly.
Exactly, yes.
But it works, so, you know, you can't knock it.
Do you have any small fish in there, small fry, sticklebacks, coarse fish fry, anything like that they feed on?
Majority is, we get a few coarse fish. The ducks bring them in on their feet, lay the eggs and away they go. But we get an awful lot of wild brown trout, 4 to 6 inches long. And the best brown trout we've had, wild fish, is about £3.
Oh, nice fish, yeah.
So,
that's a nice
you know,
one.
that
For
is
wild
good,
fish, you know.
For a wild brown.
And on that subject, you do have some browns in the lakes as well that you
We do,
stock.
yeah.
What's the sort of lake records? Run us through the fishery records.
Well, rainbow trout, the fishery record is £22 rainbow, and a 19.5 brownie.
I'll take that brownie any day. That's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's
record.
the fish.
You know, that is a trophy fish.
Absolutely. Any other? Have you sort of dabbled with brook trout and variants, etc.?
Yeah, we've stocked tigers. We haven't got any tigers at the moment, but we're hoping to stock a few of those later in the year.
Yeah.
We stock rainbows and browns predominantly, but we're always willing to try. I thought about trying 1 or 2 salmon, but
yes, I know, still water salmon, yeah.
Yeah, because we've got the oxygenated water, so I think they'd quite like it.
What sort of percentage, going back to this sporting ticket, what would you get? Sort of 30% people to like catch and release? I mean, they must like it. You wouldn't do it for 25 years otherwise.
No.
So you must have a business coming through that one. What sort of figures do you have yourself?
I would go so far as to say the 50% of our fishermen are catch and release.
It's as much as that now?
Yeah, wanting not to take fish.
They don't want anything?
No.
Exactly, I know, I can understand that, yeah.
But majority of the other fishermen like the catch and release option after they've taken their limit bag.
Yeah, that's good,
So,
that's good.
It works well.
And releasing those fish is really better to keep them in the net. I mean, if we catch anything, fingers crossed we do, we can show it to the camera, but generally speaking, you like them to, I would imagine, keep them in the water.
Keep them in the water, just lift the leader, unhook the fish, ideally, obviously, barbless hooks,
Sure.
or pinch the barb down.
You can crush them with a pair of
That's it,
pliers
yeah.
or forceps, yeah.
Forceps. And I find a really good way is forceps to release the hook.
Oh, you're bending it round, yeah?
Just release,
Tweak it
just
out.
tweaking it, yeah. But there are tools to use, you know, an unhook tool.
Yes, helps.
Yeah, forceps are my #1 favourite.
Okay.
Because you're not having to handle the fish at all.
Yes.
You know.
Because you can remove the slime, that mucus, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
And then they might get an infection,
and
I suppose.
they are cold-blooded, so they feel your hand like a hot iron on their flesh.
Yes.
You know, that's why they often struggle when you hold a fish.
Sounds like the wife giving me tea. I always struggle. She's trying to pin me down with that red hot clamp, so that I can come off the editing machine and not look at so many fishing films. Well, we're going to give it a crack anyway, Richard. We give it a go.
Yeah.
So you think maybe try that main lake first?
Yes, main lake, and try a dry fly as well.
Okay.
You know, it's quite a mild day today, so.
Well, we'll give it a go, and Mike, who does the film editing, you know, he's a beginner, so there's quite a few bushes around here, and I fear for my fly box is all I can say. I fear for it. Richard, thank you very much, and we'll hopefully talk to you later on, let you know how we got on.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good man, thank you.
All the best.
Well, I took Richard's advice, came out here, bumped one off straight away, not a big fish. Started to speed the strip up because I watched everybody else fishing really, really slow, and I thought I'd try something different. Wham, got a take. It's a rainbow, and it's going to go back hopefully as a catch and release. No, nice rainbow. Let's see where he's hooked, because it was quite a peculiar sort of crash take and took a lot of line off me. There he is. Another little tip, guys, if you're first fish of the day and you want to net it, just wet the net first. And then when you go to get the trout, it's already going to sink a little bit quicker. Get all that loose line up off the ground. And then hopefully, we'll just ease this one in. There it is. Just wait for them to go off again. And I'm going to keep this one in the water all the time, get you a quick show to the camera, and that's going to be it. Or not. Don't fall off yet. I'm going to show the nice people on YouTube what a Frensham trout looks like. Now, there we go. I'm going to show you in the net there. Because that's about 2.5 pound fish. And he's absolutely slammed that nymph there. There you can see it. And being barbless, straight out. There's a fish. Oh yes. Now don't tell me that wasn't worth getting out of bed for. A totally awesome rainbow. I've only been here about 10 minutes. And let's put it back slowly. Catch and release, it works. There we go, just open the cover. The water's hurting my hands, it's so cold. God. That's what you call game on, folks. Let's get back out there again.
Well, I've been using Richard's tips for casting. We've changed that fly as well with that wind knot. We've snipped the leader off where the wind knot was and put a new fly on. Bit of a faster sinking fly, this one. And within the first cast, I was just practicing that D, making that D shape that Richard was telling me about. And within the first cast, I'm into a fish here.
Rainbow, brown?
I'm not too sure actually.
He's zooming, he's zooming.
Might be brown. Oh, I do actually have the net with me this time. Very rare. Let's get it wet. The rainbow.
Scoot about a bit, don't they? Certainly cover some ground.
Now these are smaller ones, but it's better scrappers sometimes.
Totally awesome.
It is, yeah. Taken a few hours, just over an hour probably, but a lovely fish.
And catch and release.
Catch and release. Nice. There's the fly, just there on his lip. Just here. Yeah. There's the fly, guys. Gone for a black and green colour there. Quite fast sinking. And here is the trout. catch and release, so we're going to get him back in the water. There we go, guys. Just let him recover slowly because it's catch and release here. So we'll just get the water around his gills, he might shoot off. There we go. Just get better. He's just slowly off, here he goes, off he goes. Awesome, let's get another one.
Right, here's the totally awesome tip of the day. There's quite tight casting here, which is good because it makes you cast properly. But what you want to watch is you don't get, I call it specking the fly. That on a cast, you go with your back cast, that's why I'm looking behind me a lot of the time to watch the cast unroll, to be honest. I'm actually firing the cast back where I want it to go. On the back cast, you could hit a rock, a stone, a piece of log, a piece of bush. You just do a tug, doesn't actually snag, but it still goes out and you're fishing away with it. Well, I tell you what, I've done that so many times and then looked at a fly and thought, why do I keep missing all these fish? So always, every 5-6 casts, especially if you've had a little tag on the back cast, check the point of the hook because it just needs the tiniest little speck on the bend of the hook, on the point of the hook, sorry, the tiniest little speck. There's a trout rising. The tiniest little speck, and that will stop a trout, hooking up solid. So watch your back cast, check the hook point, check for wind knots, check everything on tight casting. I'm going to go fishing now, guys. There's a totally awesome tip for you.
Well, that's the third bump off I've had, guys. I've had a couple of follows, but 3 times I've bumped off the fish as it's taken the fly.
And you check the fly?
And if you look here, the hook's folded out. It's nearly straightened, which is probably why I'm missing all those bites.
Let's see if we can get in there and show folks. Because I just literally mentioned about, yeah, absolutely, you can see that hook. Now that was what I was telling them early on, that probably with a back cast you might have clipped a stone, a log,
tree
or something like that, and that's the reason that would be 3 trout you could have had. So just on that point, if you just see it's opened out there.
And then also there's a little wind knot here. I'm only a beginner, so I'm going to get these
you can't
quite
help
often.
those. We all
you might
get
see
those.
them against the water there.
Yeah. Well, now that, if you get a really big fish, say a 7 or 8 pounder, that's your weak spot. That's going to be a lost fish. So we need to snip that off, retie that. I think with the size of fish here, we're probably going to rebend that hook. But that's exactly what I told the folks early on about watching that back cast. And you can just, well, you can see it. I can see the hook's absolutely 45 degrees back, Right, guys, totally awesome tip number 2. This water is not gin clear, okay? It is slightly what I would call off-coloured. You don't actually see the trout out there, coming for the fly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fish it in. I'll be normally fishing away like this, and where on say clear water I can see there's no fish there, so I'm going to lift off. I'm not going to fish what I call dead water. Here, don't do that because the fish kind of follow you right in. It's slightly coloured so they can't see you quite so well, but what you do is you just get down to the last 4 or 5 feet before the leader goes into the rod rings and just raise the rod up, and I'm looking for the fly all the time. I'm just drawing the rod back in an arc. I'm looking. If a trout grabs it and I feel a tug, I'm going to whip strike it gently, just like this. It's got it. Pop. And just almost like a lift off for a cast. So I'll tell you again, I just throw it out to give you a guide. So I'm stripping away like normal and thinking, oh, nothing out there, nothing out there, nothing out there. Wrong. It's slightly coloured water. They're going to come much closer in. So just before I lift off, I leave maybe 4 feet of fly line before the leader. Raise the rod up. I'm just drawing it to keep the same speed on the nymph or the fly or the lure. And I'm looking, I'm waiting for the tug, but I'm also looking to see what's coming up behind that fly. Here I go. I can see the fly. Nothing behind it. Okay, fine. Pick off and just continue with your cast. But you can catch so many trout close in. I see a lot of people lift off too soon. Coloured water, fish it right to the bank. Totally awesome tip number 2. Well, that one, guys, was right in close, as I said earlier. It's not a big fish, but it's certainly a racy one. And what another little tip is, should I tell you? I don't know what to tell you people. You YouTubers can keep it to yourself. If everybody on the lake is not catching very much and they're all doing the same speed tweak, I'm going to say it quietly so nobody hears, try fast stripping for about 6 or 7 casts. Because boy, you can get some slamming takes. Doesn't work all the time, I generally do it when people have been tweaking and tweaking and tweaking, little short nymphy bits, tweaking away. If you try whacking a strip fly, you don't have to put a lure on, the same nymph can do it. You can find those trout go, what the hell is that going over my head? Ow! And they've got it. Meanwhile, let's get this one. This one right in the net. There he is. Very quickly. Hook's out. Barbless hook. Pearly daddy. Tied by Sydnite. Deadliest fly known to man. What a beautiful looking trout. What a lovely trout. Not a monster, but just check out the tail on this, people, because that is how a trout should look. Look at that tail. That's a lovely fish. And gone. And who says catch and release doesn't work? Sorry, it does here at Frensham Trout Fishery.
Consider yourself a fisherman. Just how far do you want to take it? Subscribe to this channel for more awesome videos.
Another totally awesome tip. Don't tread all over your fly line, because what happens is you're going to crack it. Try and keep away from treading on it and you get a better cast as well. But as you can see down here, this is because we've just turned up on yet another totally awesome fishing show on a little shorty session. I haven't straightened the line, so if you get the chance, well, you do get the chance, but you've got to stop yourself fishing as soon as you get to the water, there's going to be a memory on this spool of that line. If you haven't used that for say 3 or 4 months, it's going to have line memory. So just get your fly line. I've given this tip many times and I don't see anybody doing it. Just give it a gentle tug like this on the bottom, say 20-30 feet of your fly line, as it's like a plasticized coating on it, so it will give, it does have memory, it will retain that memory. And if you gently stretch it like this, you'll stretch all those coils out, just like this. Don't snap it, just stretch it. Now look, if I just show you, on the ground as I stretched it, it lays nice and limp and straight, whereas here, where I haven't done it, it's coily, and you're going to get all twists and that tangles on the cast. So if you get the chance, if you straighten out your line like that with a little tension, you will cast much smoother and possibly a little bit farther. Look at that, guys, right down the margins. As I told you, nobody fishing there except my son, so I booted him off, another few casts down there and just fishing down there. So that tip actually has done me some good as well. Look at that fish go. Come on. Come on. And of course with catch and release fishing, it really does take the pressure off, because you haven't got to say, well, I've got 3 fish ticket, I can only catch 3 fish, I better make it last a day. With catch and release sporting tickets, you just relax, because if you lose a fish, no big deal. Well, okay, it's a big deal, but not really, is it? Because you can just keep fishing, you let the fish go, you can catch another one. The pressure's off, you relax, you enjoy it more. I think eventually it might be the way forward. Yet again, old Sydnite's Pearly Daddy does the job, and there's the fish. Another, what, 2 1/4? Look at the, and I'll tell you what, they've got beautiful markings down here. The dots seem to come right down to the belly. and that is one fine fresh trout there, rainbow trout. You don't necessarily need monster trout to have a great day's fishing. Very, very pleased with that one. Taken, stripping through the margins in between other anglers' pegs. Another tip for you that you can see works. Frensham Trout Fishery, I love it. I see the other anglers do this. That's disgusting. Why do they do that? Yet another totally awesome tip. I like to play the fish off a reel like this, but if you hook a fish up close in, you're going to have a load of line down there. Now on small fish, you can strip in. Some anglers like stripping like this, and you just pinch it with a finger here. But if the fish powers away, always be aware that should be free to slide away. I do have the trout still on there, by the way. I'm running very dangerously because I'm on barbless hooks, obviously, because it's catch and release. So you can let it slide out like this and play the fish as per normal, nice and smooth, and you can strip in like this. Because sometimes, and I'm saying this because we're fishing barbless here, by the time I wind all this line in that's all over the floor, that could give me a little bit of slack line and the hook falls out. So when you're fishing barbless, keep that line tight at all times, even if you have to strip in like this. Well, we've had some great action up on the main lakes, you know, at Frensham. You've seen that. Mike's got one. I managed to get 4. But we're here with Richard. We're on a different section of your fishery, Richard. I can see behind me some beautiful clear water, which I find unusual. Now tell me, you know, what it is about this sporting ticket that you do down here.
Well, it's local to Frensham. It's called Crystal Pools, named because of the
clarity,
colour of the water. Yeah, it's very clear, so you can see the fish that you're hoping to catch, and people enjoy it. So.
And is it very deep here, or is it a shallow lake?
Yeah, it's about 5 metres deep.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
So you can fish a floating line or intermediate. Both work quite well. So.
And you've got, what, 2 or 3 of these sort of little lakes here?
Yeah, there's 4, and one lake with a few carp in it. So anybody wanting to catch a carp on fly.
Oh, really? That'd be a summertime thing, though?
Yeah.
And what sort of insect life would there be in here?
Well, we get a very good mayfly hatch, end of May, early June. We get a lot of sedge, buzzers, you know, quite a good mixture.
So surface action is going to be good with small nymphs and buzzers on. You can fish obviously pretty light tackle here, I'd imagine, as well, can you, with small flies?
Very small dries do really well, yeah.
Okay, so we get Mike set up, and you think, what, start on this main lake here?
Yeah, I would, and then transgress through the trees into the little pools. Yeah.
So you can walk right around these, and you can actually spot the individual fish. And being catch and release, you can catch and release the biggest one you want if you can catch it.
Correct, yeah.
Unhooking in the net, in the water, what's your policy here for this catch and release?
I prefer to see people catch them in the net, retain them in the net, release the fish, give them a couple of minutes to recover, and then just let them slide out of the net and away they go.
Okay.
And we've done this for 25 years with no problem whatsoever.
Oh, that's great, that's great. So Mike is now ready.
Yep.
We'll get the cameras fired up and hopefully we get a bit of action on this lake.
Yep, sure we will.
There we go. On the pearly daddy, which has just popped out in the net actually.
Falling out.
Yep.
Keep in the water.
There we go. That's the fly. Let's get the fish for you. Very, very active fish, this one. It's gonna go. No, we'll do it that way. There we go.
Lovely.
Look at this. Awesome. Might not be as feisty, this one.
Nice lookers.
Lovely colours, yeah.
Very nice looking.
Healthy looking fish. On the pearly daddy. Right guys, Dad's gone off to interview Richard, and I saw my camera here and I thought, do you know what, I might as well just wet a line, chuck a fly out, see if I get anything. And I'm actually into quite a decent fish here. Just thought I'd practice my casting again just because I'm a beginner, and the good thing about this lake here is it's good to feel the strip when you're stripping in. It's good to feel the take without actually seeing it as well. So I was just getting used to feeling the takes without seeing the fish. And I'm actually into quite a nice rainbow here. trout. Oh, that's a beauty. Trout of the day there, guys. That is trout of the day. Totally awesome. Let's get this one back. I said about trout of the day a minute ago while Dad's having an interview. I've got another decent one on here. I'm not sure if it's as big as the last one. Hopefully I'll be able to get you a bit of a better shot, because the last one didn't have the tripod or anything. I just put the camera on a jacket, so I don't think I got it. I looked back on the clips and I don't think it did it any justice. So hopefully I can get this one in and try and get a better angle for you guys. But it's another nice fish. Luckily this time I got Dad here to pick up the camera. I said about that last shot. Let's just have a look before we put it back. This is a nice trout. This could be trout of the day, actually.
Oh yeah, that's a nice fish.
Oh, that's a good trout.
That is the kiddie.
There we go. Beauty.
Beautiful. Look at that condition on it.
Lovely, lovely markings. That's a totally awesome trout right there, that is. Get yourself down to Frensham Trout Fishery.
Beauty.
There we go, look at that. That's a lovely trout. It's just gently low. It's going to shoot off. They've got lots of energy. There we go. Look at it go.
That looks good.
That's a good release there.
Well, fishing here's been nothing short of outstanding. This clear water one, it's only small. You say you want to go stalking for trout. I tell you what, there's so many in here, I think it's them. They're stalking us. Mike's already had a load of fish. He's allowing me 2 casts. And if I can't get one in 2 casts, well, something's seriously wrong, folks. Come on, let's go. See if we can finish on a high. Well, it didn't take the 2 casts, ladies. 1 cast, but it's barbless hooks. And I'll tell you what, does catch and release work? You don't need to convince me. This one is going very, very well. It's gone through the bushes, out the other side. You can see that line, it's needing to cut back up this way a bit. And that's the difference. I like playing them off the reel, some people don't, but this way, if you have a big fish, you can follow it round the lake. Whereas if I had all that stripped in loose stuff like this, how am I going to drag all that through the brambles, the nettles everywhere? So if you have a small fish, you can strip them in. A little bit bigger fish, I tend to play it off the reel. I mean, it's not a monster fish, but is he going or what? Come on. I think it's just cold water, you know, that they got a lot of nice cold water here in these fish. Let's get the net out. There we go. Come in, Mr. Catch and Release, and he's inhaled it. Easy. There you go, folks. That's the end of the session. Yeah, another fine trout in the net for the totally awesome fishing crew. It does work, catch and release. My suggestion is, if you get the chance, at least give it a try. And it's just nice to see those fish swim away. Oh!
That's a brown.
That's a brown.
You'll go. Oh.
Well, that is what we call, when we go to the other still, we'll just call it jiggling, when you go in a patch of weed.
Yeah, yeah.
And just jiggle the fly up and down.
Yeah.
Or jungle fishing, I think they call it, don't they?
That's it. He won't want to come in very easy, I know.
got it in the scissors there. Let's get it.
It's a nice one.
Yeah.
It's a good fish.
Well, people, I'll tell you what, we should be paying Richard for all these tips he's given us. He said you'll catch a brownie in amongst those branches and overhangs, but it's not really a cast. We call it a ping cast, really, just ping it out, but look at that fish. What a session we're having here at Frensham. An absolute beauty. Let's get it back though. There we go, one last quick look. Beautiful fish. He wants to go, I can feel he wants to go. He's not going to last very long, I feel. Just let me recover there. And you can't do this in warm water, but it's really, really cold waters here. And usually those fish respond well. There he goes. Away. What a session. And there's even better, because I hear there's mayflies in the right season as well. Can you imagine that? One of those browns on a mayfly.